Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in, and certainly peace and blessings be upon you and your family this evening. Now, before I get ready to get started, we're going to do a little bit from How to Eat to Live. I know in a previous vid, the poem is called Life. I said I was listening to a message from the Holy Quran. Incorrect pronunciation. It wasn't the Quran. It was actually the Koran. Okay? Koran for the spelling. And also, another tidbit point, since I'm doing some corrections and regarding words, had a real wonderful opportunity today. I was listening to different chapters. And certainly if you listen to different chapters and the reader actually gives you a word and spells the word out for you, that's an opportunity for you to write that word down. Go ahead and learn some, because I certainly learned 2 new words today. The pronunciation, certainly wonderful for education purposes. But just take notes, basically, I got paper, not too far away, pencil, or if you like, certainly, oops, sorry about that, pens, gotta have them close by. You never know, you might need to take some notes. All right, and on that note, let's go ahead and get started in the How to Eat to Live. Right now, we're on chapter 23, Cooked Food is Better. And it goes like this. Now, for good health and long life, God, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, taught me that we should eat 1 meal a day, and it should be 24 hours from the last meal. If we eat 1 meal once every day at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever is the best hour for your meal, then wait until that hour comes again before eating again. Try eating 1 meal a day for yourself, and you will tell me you feel much better than you did eating 3 times a day. So true, so true. A lot of little complaints or ailments will disappear. You do not have to eat every meal that is prescribed by this civilization. Let me try that again. You do not have to eat every meal that is prescribed by this civilization. If you do, you will be dead, and soon. This civilization is rapidly turning back to raw food and raw juices. But our God and Savior, Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, taught me to cook our food, and most of the doctors agree that cooked food is better. There are many doctors who will not agree with you on drinking a lot of raw juices, not even a lot of raw grape juice, orange juice, or any kind of fresh juice. It is too much for our stomachs. The vitamins in it are good for us. There are other enemies in raw vegetables and fruit juices from the land where they were grown, and from the insects that fed upon them. When we eat raw vegetables as they come up from the earth, and other roots and salads which are raw, we are not doing our stomachs good. Our stomachs were not made to digest these foods in their first raw stages. Therefore, I do not agree with anyone on eating too much raw food or drinking too much raw juice. A little raw salad is good for us if eaten along with cooked food, even if we eat it daily. But do not make meals of such raw salad. We cannot follow the white man in his eating habits. because his habits are from the days of savagery in the hills and caves of Europe, where he ate all his food raw because he did not have the knowledge of the use of fire to cook his food as he does today. Eat to live and not to die. Chapter 24. Natural food. We are often making suggestions of the various kinds of foods that the earth produces for us to eat. Since the coming of the white race, the white race, have set forth one of the greatest confusions of what foods the human family should eat. And today, everything like food is eaten by the human family, whether this food is good for human consumption or not. It is offered in the market for us to eat naturally, all following what the white race offers to us in the way of eating, clothes, shelter, and money, because of their given power to rule over us for a limited time, in parentheses, 6,000 years. We have followed their dictation as to what we should accept and we should reject, almost to the letter, for the past 6,000 years. Now, a new ruler and his way of civilization stands knocking on our door with his list of how to eat to live. In the creation of the earth, the Creator caused everything to grow in the earth that would be, or act as the sustainer of our lives. The natural food value of the vegetable that we grow, that we go to the market and buy, should not be destroyed with a lot of additions. They contain the vitamins and proteins nature put in them for us. If the experimenters and poisoners of food do not interfere, natural food will give to us natural health and beauty and prolong our lives. If the poison hand of the commercializer does not touch it, I'm going to spell commercializer, it's COMMERCIALIZER, does not touch it. None of us should suffer with sugar diabetes if we would eat natural food, because the sugar in natural food is not enough to poison our blood with sugar. It is the sugar that is manufactured by the commercializers on sweets that causes the dreadful diseases of sugar diabetes. All sufferers from sugar diabetes should abstain from eating sugar after they learn they are sufferers from diabetes. And they should eat the natural food that Allah has placed in the earth for us, without the addition of sugar. We should cook the food the way we like it and season it with a little natural salt and natural pepper the way we like it. It is sometimes hard to get natural salt. There are several salts on the market that the commercializers on food have put before us. The best salt is a natural salt, or that which the Jewish people eat and season their food with. The Jews are old settlers of the white civilization and the first guides of the white race in a natural and commercial field of foods. The Holy Quran teaches the Muslims that the food of both the followers of Moses, in parentheses, the Orthodox Jews, and the food of the Muslims is good for each, because the food of the two people do not vary too much. There are some weak Muslims and there are some weak Orthodox Jews, but they, Orthodox Jews, as God taught me, live more closely to the Muslims' way of eating than any of the rest of the white civilization. The Jews and Muslims have always been able to settle their differences between each other better than Christians and Muslims. Meccan white Muslims claim to be first cousins to the black man. Though Abram, two sons, Ishmael and Isaac, but nevertheless, among the three parties now, Muslims, Jews, and Christians, and a fourth party, Hindus. A great conflict arises and is growing to reach a bitter end if wisdom is not found to curb it. But the American Jew and the American black man may yet find some way of making a separate relationship out of the other world. Eat the natural food, and do not try eating all of it at one time. Do not seek to gobble down all the refined sugars and sweets that are made from natural foods, lest you find yourself being put in a refined box that carries the dead. Do not feed your children all sorts of processed foods, such as cereals. If you could give them fresh foods, and do not give your child ready prepared food. Prepare it yourself, as mother used to do a long time ago. You were more healthy in those days than you are now. Prepare your child's food and give it to him, but do not feed it to him out of your mouth, as grandmother used to do. But still, we survived from that better than we are surviving from these processed foods today. A sick mother's milk is better for her baby than a healthy cow's milk or any animal's milk. You may give your babies cow milk, but if you can breastfeed them, your cells as nature intended, then you should do so. You will have a healthier baby, and a baby will love you. When a baby is nursed on cow's milk, the baby may love the cow more than he loves you. Eat good food so that you'll be able to give your baby good, pure milk. You can drink cow's milk. Your own milk glands will put it into the right stage for your child, but be careful as to what kind of drugs you take while nursing your baby. And do not take fast while you are breastfeeding an infant or even while you are pregnant. If you like, you may eat once a day while pregnant or breastfeeding your baby, but you are not forced to do so. You should not go for 2 or 3 days without eating. In answer to your question, are whole wheat cakes and muffins. Yes, you may eat them, but do not eat them or any bread the same day you bake it, if you can avoid doing so. Do not eat fresh hot muffin rings and hot cakes because they are half-cooked breads. Everything in a line of bread should be thoroughly cooked. There is no such thing as stale bread. The bread you call stale bread is the bread you should eat. When children suffer from bronchial asthma or any asthmatic condition, do not give them too much milk. Give them more fruit and juices. Fresh juices, not canned juices. Adults should try to eat 1 meal a day. If you eat 1 meal every 2 days, 3 days, or 5 days, it is okay. But do not force children under 16 years of age to do the same. They are growing and most of them need 2 meals a day. The scientists of this world, the white race, failing to gain the confidence of the people, ran away race of commercialization between each other. This commercializing on foods has put forbidden, divinely forbidden, and poisoned foods on the market for human consumption. Now, these poisoned foods have created another commercial field, drugs, to temporarily reduce the effect of the poisoned foods eaten by the people. Excuse me. That they purchase from the food markets. Therefore, the healthy and span a good happy lives without drugs of the whole white race, and the black people who are under the rule of the white race are being destroyed by the artificial and poisoned foods put on sale in the market. Which is backed by the government and communities be eaten by human beings for the sake of that commercialized dollar. Sugar, for instance. Sweets and meats have become the greatest desire dishes of America. Food is eaten with many artificial flavors and coloring. Slow death. Added. There is no need to draw sweets out of sugar cane and sugar beets to sweeten other foods that we eat, when by nature all foods that we eat has some natural sugar or sweetening in them. Even meats are sweet enough for our taste and digestion. A little salt added and a little pure pepper added to make it taste hot is sufficient. The other flavors are not necessary. Fruits. Fruits are all good and best for our consumption in their natural state. Fruits should never be cooked to get the better value out of them for our health. Fruits should be eaten raw and not cooked. The drying of fruits is only for preservation so that it can be eaten later, but not with the value that it contained when it was fresh. That does complete the reading of chapter 23 and 24. I'm going to give you a preview of what chapter 25 is going to be about: food robbed of natural vitamins. So certainly stay tuned. I want you and your family to be blessed. And I do have something new coming for you on Poem Praise too, but I actually want to get through these two books first. I want to read these two books first before I move into that direction of what I have in the dome for that direction. So stay tuned to Poem Praise 2, and I will holler at you a little later. Until then, I want you and your family this evening to be blessed. And I'll talk with you later. Until then, later, y'all.